Good morning. During the 10 years between 2008 and 2018 makes it a decade. And I'm finding the directors who made plays at the Old Town Playhouse in Traverse City, Michigan, and giving them a memory in a video for their family members, children, and especially to them, so they can look back, standing on their theater stage. Good morning. Oscar Wilde was 41 years old when his fabulous, witty, undialed husband was staged at the Haymarket Theatre in 1895. Within that same year, The Importance of Being Earnest, which many regard as being his best work, held its premiere at the St. James Theatre in London. For any playwright having two of their works being acknowledged by their peers in the same year is an astounding accomplishment. What also makes the year 1895 a profound milestone in Wilde's career is his notorious arrest for gross indecency. He was gay, and they put him into prison.
I'm quite looking forward to meeting your charming husband, Lady Chiltern. Lady Basildon. And how was Lord Basildon? Brain still weak, I suppose. But have we really met before? Lady just came a little later on in life. I don't think any of them were for good conduct.
One may become convinced. And the man who allows himself to be convinced by argument is a thoroughly unreasonable person.
Oh, Sir Robert.
Seriously?
Quite seriously. I want to talk to you about the Argentine Canal Company, in fact.
What a tedious, practical subject for you to want to talk about, Mrs. Cheveley.
Oh, I like tedious, practical subjects. What I don't like are tedious practical people.
At school together, Mrs. Cheek.
Indeed. Oh, I have forgotten all about my school days. I have a vague impression that they were detestable. Surprise. Do you know, I am quite looking forward to meeting your clever husband, Lady Chiltern. Since he's been at the Farm Office, he's been so much talked of in Vienna.
Mrs. Cheveley. One of the Gloucestershire Chevelys, I suppose. But I really don't know. Families are so mixed nowadays. Everybody in the end turns out to be somebody else.
Or the report that you had intended to lay before the House, on the grounds that you believe the commissioners have been prejudiced or misinformed or something.
Oh, he's had a most brilliant and interesting career and has married a most admirable wife. I'm a little too old now myself to struggle with setting a good example, but I always admire people who do. And now I must go, dear. Shall I call for you tomorrow?
I don't see any reason why I shouldn't give you the same advice. I always pass on good advice. It's the only thing to do with it. It's
The idlest man in London.
I have met Lord Goring before.
I did not think you would remember me, Mrs. Cheveley.
Oh, my memory is somewhat admirable, control.
I love genius.
How very selfish of you.
I am very selfish.
You're always telling me all that false.
No, I have only told you the half of them as yet, Miss May.
Well, the other's very bad.
Quite dreadful. When I think of them at night, I never sleep once.
I should like to, but my professor objects to. May I have the pleasure of escorting her to the music room, mademoiselle?
Delighted to know. Quite delighted.
On to the dogs. Punch, nobody's talking about nothing.
Well, I love talking about nothing, Father. It is the only thing I know anything about.
I don't know how the unfortunate men in the house stand this long to me.
They're better listening. Of course, but you see, to listen is a very dangerous thing.
And now I must go, my dear. Shall I call for you later?
Say,
Good night, dear. My husband, Mrs. Cheveley.
oh, I wanted to interest him in this Argentine Canal Company, of which I dare say you have heard. And I found him most susceptible. Susceptible to reason, I mean. I convinced him in 10 minutes. He's going to make a speech tomorrow night in favor of the scheme. We should be in the ladies' gallery to hear him. Oh, it will be a great occasion.
Who told you I intended to do so?
That woman who was just gone out, Mrs. Cheveley, as she calls herself now. She seemed to taunt me with it, Robert. I know this woman. We were at school together.
No man should have a secret from his own wife. She invariably finds it out.
Arthur, I couldn't do it. It would kill her love for me. Who did I wrong by what I did? No one.
Except yourself, Robert.
I wanted my success when I was young. I couldn't wait.
But Robert, how could you have sold yourself for money?
I bought success at a great price, and that is all.
What first made you think of doing such a thing?
Your name was received with loud applause. And now I've come in to have my tea. You will wait and have some tea, won't you?
I'll wait for a short time, thanks.
I'll be a moment. I'm going to take off my hat.
Oh, please don't. Well, it is one of the prettiest hats I ever saw.
Of course, I made Robert write to her at once, withdrawing his promise.
And so he gave me to understand.
To have kept it would have been the first stain on a career that has been stainless always. Robert must be above reproach. He is not like other men. He cannot afford to do what other men do. Don't you agree with me? You are Robert's greatest friend. No one, except myself, knows him better than you do. He has no secrets from me.
What is unfashionable is what other people wear.
Yes.
Other people are quite dreadful. The only possible society is to oneself.
Yes, my lord.
To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance, Fitz. I am coming to you. Gertrude. Of the poor woman, she has found out everything.
You know, you can't always be living for pleasure. It's a high time for you to get married.
My directions on the subject were very precise. He asked me if Lady called, I was to show her into the drawing room.
There's plenty of too much of that sort of thing going on nowadays.
Yes, I quite agree, Father. If there were less sympathy in the world, there would be less trouble in the world.
If I had, I know what I would make him do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to leave now. I only dropped in to see Sir Robert and congratulate him on this speech.
Well, you're not going to leave me all alone before pouring at such an early hour of the day.
I'm afraid I can't take him with me to Downing Street. This is not the Prime Minister's day for seeing the unemployed.
So, it is my duty to remain with you.
Of course it is.
Well, my duty is a thing that I never do, on principle. It always depresses me. So, I'm in danger. What do you mean?
Lady Chiltern, last night you wrote to me a very beautiful, womanly letter. You wrote it to me as one of your oldest friends, and one of your husband's oldest friends. Mrs. Cheveley stole that letter from my rooms.
Director, high moral tone, high principles, things that you do not have.
You love Walter. Do you want to kill his love for you? What will become of him if you rob him of the fruits of his ambition? If you take from him the splendid, great political career he, who was made for triumph and success?
Shame, ruin, the mockery of the world. Let women make no more ideals of men, lest they ruin other lives as completely as you.
Good morning. This play is The Mousetrap, written by Agatha Christie and directed by Jan Dalton. I was asked to make a short film and put it on the screen for the audience before the actors and actresses started their performance. At the very beginning of the play, naturally, it was a murder mystery with a woman found dead, and a police officer was investigating all of the persons throughout the play at the Old Town Playhouse on March 10th, 2017.